Studios. We have an office basically around the neck area.
These two retired Vegas cops, now podcast hosts.
They don't have ID. They can't get into a hotel room.
To get them the help they need, especially if someone even gets arrested. A lot of people don't know how the justice system works.
But I want someone to actually know them and know that it's legit.
I see a big 2023 for this group right here.
I would, in general, be wary of the storefront psychic.
You guys have going on is necessary, it's needed.
Right to you, Dave.
Hey everybody, this is David Colemeyer, the Problem Solver. We are live at Sticky Paws Studio 215 in Rainbow. How is everyone doing today? As usual, every single week on Thursdays, we go live to solve some problems. I don't know what the problem is going to be today, but we're going to solve some type of problem. And normally I have some amazing co-hosts, awesome guests. As usual, I'm a retired police officer helping people, bringing on experts to help me solve specific problems in the community.
Experts, yeah.
So lovely. We have Dr. G here today, Dr. G. Gentille.
Hey. Hi.
My beautiful co-host. She's available late at night, 3 in the morning. You can contact her at 1-833-GENTILLE.
Always available.
She's always helping the community and available, which I love so much.
Always here to help.
I sent her a few problems the other day. She's like, I'm sorry, I can't handle these problems. I have my own problems.
Yeah.
And then we have today a lovely guest, Christina Lauren.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Hey.
Christina is the founder and host of Fearless, I guess we'll say AF for people, because we may have to clip this for TV as well. So
Thank
anyway,
you.
Fearless AF. Like, beep.
Oh, cool.
So
Make it sound so official.
it's very
That's kind of nice.
So thanks so much for joining us. I have been following you, not like a stalker type of person, but because I like the concept of what you're doing.
Thank
and
you.
I do love your intros and the videos. I think you do some great stuff. And I think at Sticky Paws Studio, the goal is also we're having so many other podcasts here. You have different people that jump on the shows, and actually it's kind of like you get to know everybody, and you know. So I think it's awesome. So I really appreciate your time today.
Of course. It is really a cool community here when you get involved with other podcasters and realize like there's so many different genres of people that we have coming in and out of the studio.
Absolutely. It's like a circuit.
So you actually, I also wanted to share, you actually won something today. You ready for what you won?
What did I win?
You won a $100 gift card for mobile.
I was going to say gas.
Mobile gas.
Yeah.
You want $100 gas?
Really?
Do you know how she won it?
No.
Because
How?
she was-
That's
Oh my
amazing.
God.
You want to tell your story of why you deserve that?
I was trying to be more punctual as one of my New Year's resolutions this year. So I was really anxious about making it on time here today. Forgot to look at my gas tank meter in my car and
huge, yeah.
forgot that I was supposed to get gas on the way here and didn't. So as I pulled on the Sunset a half a mile away, I ran out of gas in the middle of the street.
Oh, my God.
So I called the problem solver.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, hey, can someone please come get me? So thankfully they sent.
So she texts me, and she actually does text me when there's problems. People, when I say the problem solver, people think like it doesn't really exist, but I do get calls throughout the day, throughout the night, text messages. So she said she was out of gas, so I text
Just
John.
so ironic.
Yeah. So I text John and several of the people here, and one of the people in the studio here today basically ran over there. Was a nice gentleman. He likes football. He holds.
Shout out to Billy.
Billy.
yeah?
He came over and
that one
basically-
over there?
Yeah. And he came over, which is funny because I was driving here and then I saw this Mustang, with the headlights. So I was like, oh, I'm going to save her day. I'm the problem solver. And there's nobody in the car. And then I see it quickly. Billy basically shows up with his car with her, and they got gas, and they're in the middle of the roadway. So Billy saved the problem. So Billy's now part of the problem solver team. We'll be contacting Billy to sign him up.
Yay, Billy. You can pick me up anytime.
That's 1-833-GENTILLE.
I'm going to get stranded on purpose.
He's a savior. This guy's unbelievable.
right.
So anyway, I'm glad that you're here. The $100 gift card, I will get you that gift card for coming here. Maybe we'll have a picture of Mobile. It will be a future sponsor of Fearless
maybe.
AF.
Yeah, sponsored by Mobile
stranded,
Gas.
Mobile Gas.
Dude, every week we'll all be stranded.
Listen, gas is expensive,
David.
okay?
It's true.
David, gas card, please.
Gas card. I think you could afford gas. I think so. So just real quickly,
It's not
so
a matter of
Gentille,
affording it.
you guys don't know each other, but Gentille basically is, I like to say a local celebrity. You think so? No.
I don't know. No one even really knows who I am.
But the other day I was like, oh, you're that person from the show.
Yeah, 1% maybe of people know.
So Gentille, tell her the show that you on.
Celebrity. So I was on Marrying Millions, and it is a show. The premise of the show is one person is rich and one is poor. So I'm the Las Vegas couple. So it came out like 2019 and 2020.
Awesome.
And they are filming, or they are casting for season 3 now.
She's the poor homeless person on the show.
The homeless one.
She happens to be good looking, but poor and homeless.
I couch surf, you know.
But good looking all the same.
It works. It works. When I first met her, we
Sexual
talked about.
favors always is good for.
It's actually this is
shelter.
kind of interesting. It's kind of bad because you talk about like feminism. I asked her. I said, "Oh, are you the?" I said, "Oh, so is the guy in The Millionaire?"
Yeah, of course.
I automatically
Of course.
assumed. So shame on me. I thought that the guy was the millionaire,
Right.
but he was not.
Yeah. Well, most of the couples on there, the guy was a millionaire.
Right.
So,
it was flipped.
Yeah. I guess I became kind of
Sugar mama?
popular. No, popular because of the fact that I was a woman.
It was not what you would have had assumed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So shame on me.
yeah.
Shame on the
Shame
problem
on you.
solver.
Shame on you.
Bad.
Yeah.
So it was funny that I said that because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't not to judge anybody, but I guess I'm thinking the man, which is wrong of me to think that way. So I do apologize.
Well, this is a
Will you
new
forgive me?
age. Well, we'll think. Yeah, I'll think about it. Yeah.
So
You might
yeah.
have to do some
So she
things
may
first.
be on season 3. We don't know. She doesn't want to say anything.
Yeah.
Are you on season 3?
We don't know yet.
We don't know. It's a
The
big secret.
casting's
Exciting.
not finished yet.
So they're still casting.
Yeah, they're still casting.
Okay.
Yes,
So it's possible.
it's possible.
Okay.
Yes.
So she's looking for like a good guy as well, which is one of the issues that we have. We're trying to find her a good guy.
Yeah.
And we brought on Mr. Black Ice, which I'm not sure if you know, but Black Ice is considered science. Did you know that? When he was on the show.
Is he?
So anyway, so Black Ice was on
Because he's
one.
all about stats, right? Statistics, right?
So just to recap, so Black Ice, who was on he was on for dating, like a dating expert, because it's a problem, right? Some people also say that in Las Vegas that it's a problem finding like your soulmate or someone that's really good.
It's a problem finding quality human beings in Las Vegas.
But here's the story. I think in any city that you are, right, there's good people, there's bad people, right? I will share with you. I'm married, and I did find my wife. She happened to live here, but she went back to California. We met online, and we met on eHarmony back in the day. We are married.
That's
And we have-
that's during the time that he was banging like 5 other girls, apparently.
Stop.
Yeah.
So we actually have 2 kids, but
Swiping all over the place.
But it's for eHarmony, right? And I did used to say though, I did think that there were a better class of women in California. And I used to go to California basically and just meet some different people, thinking that it's better than Vegas. So I don't know really if it's good or bad in general. So tell me your thoughts, because you do talk about that on your show in regards to dating, right?
Right. I mean, my show isn't about dating. There were just a lot of episodes that wound up talking a lot about toxic situations in dating, because a lot of the stories of women that I brought on my podcast, they've turned their pain into powerful situations out of toxic relationships. And that's not to say that the woman can't be the toxic person in the relationship. And this is where it gets twisted, because people think that I'm a feminist, which I'm the farthest thing from. I'll say that to be very clear. But I do encourage women to be empowered in their own right, to make sure they don't wind up in shitty situations with men, because it happens a lot. I've heard a lot of women wind up in abusive relationships because they felt like that was what they deserved. They felt like they had to stay. They didn't really know their way out. So we do talk a lot about that. But I think you're right. I don't think that it's just Vegas. I think that anywhere you live is going to have your pocket of people that are good and that are bad. You're going to find both anywhere. Right. But Vegas just breeds a different kind of environment. Like, there is nowhere like Vegas in the United States. There's just so much accessible at your fingertips. But then again, like we were saying earlier, now you have the ability to go on your phone and just swipe and find something new. So I think people are more exposed to having that disposable just thing in their head. Well, if this doesn't work, I can go find somebody else really quick.
You just swipe to a new relationship, right?
Right. And not that it would be, sustainable or worthwhile, but you have access to a lot of different people, and people are less likely to fix the problems they have because they can just move on to the next.
Right.
What are your thoughts? I always tell people that if you're trying to find someone, a good guy or girl, that you should go to like networking events where there's more professional people, which doesn't mean that there's bad professional people out there that are disguised as a doctor, a lawyer, or a financial advisor, right?
It's the same.
Right.
But
I think
if you're hanging out in the strip or in a club, it's a different story. But I think that if you go to these networking events and business kind of things, you would think that you're finding a better quality of person.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah. Well,
No.
but
Go to the clubs?
But no, well, I think you should go and surround yourself in positions where you'd like to meet somebody who is interested in the same things as you. Like, I'm really into fitness. I could go to the gym, like, I'll find a gym guy, but half gym guys are douchebags too. So no offense, but like you find find bad people in every situation. But if you are at least putting yourself in a productive place where you can meet somebody interested in the same things as you, at least you're kind of like finding the right people for you, I guess you could say. Like,
but here's the thing though, like if you're in that group, like if you go to all the networking events, you'll see the same people.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right. You
Yeah.
kind of like wind up grouping yourself with the same people
Always.
showing up every single week.
I mean, I think
Everywhere.
these days, yeah, eventually that may dry out unless there's a new person that comes into that group of people.
And then everyone attacks that person.
Like, oh, fresh meat.
There's a new one.
It's like, who's that girl? Who's that guy? Like, it's piranha. Ah, let's go.
Yeah, and I was like that when I
Really?
came onto the doctor and lawyer scene. I was fresh meat at the time, at the first couple of events. They're like, ooh, who's this girl? And then I remember having this one guy came up to me. He's like, so how'd you get in this group? I'm like, oh, I don't know. I was invited or something. He goes, you're probably like the rest of them. I'm like, what do you mean by that? And he goes, most of the women here are trying to snag doctors. That's why they're here. I'm like, I don't need to snag anyone. I just came here to actually get some
It's
drinks.
like I just came here for some food.
Yeah,
For food and drinks.
I came here for like a taco. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's hard when you realize you're getting grouped into like a demographic because, I mean, like you said, you could say the same thing about people who work in the clubs or go to the clubs. I work in nightclubs, and I feel like I look for genuine people, but I work in the nightclubs. And you could probably hear something like, oh, she's a cocktail server. Oh, she's just like the rest of them. You know what I mean? So I know that if there's somebody good like me in that demographic of people, has to be more of them.
Absolutely.
So
How do you feel those people are in general with that you work in the industry? Like, do you find that the guys in the industry are good guys, or do you think that they're...
I think it depends on your age. I think it really depends on your age because you have anybody from ages like 21 to 40 working in the nightlife industries and the day club industries in Las Vegas because here, if you're young, if you look young and you're good looking and you have a good work ethic, you could stay working in these jobs for a long time. Half of them are union, so they're actually really incredible jobs to have. So the age range is pretty big. But you get, your adults acting like 21-year-olds, and you get some of your 21-year-olds who are there just to hustle for their side job. So you really just have to kind of get to know people and understand because they could have these jobs, but you don't really know who they are. Some people might just be hustling like myself. It's a second job. I'm stacking away to buy a house. Yeah. It's not my full-time career, but I'm doing it on the side, going in, making my money and leaving.
Good.
But then you have your people who are younger, which I remember being 21, 22. I was living that lifestyle. Like I was going out every night. I was like networking all the time. I was like at all the clubs trying to be out for like every day of the week that I could just to be out and about. But I'm not at that point anymore. So I go do my jobs, go have fun on occasion, but I'm not living that lifestyle every day. So,
got it.
For somebody who wants to take somebody seriously, I couldn't date somebody who's literally like living the nightlife. You know what I mean?
But when you work in the nightclub, don't they make you go out and do the networking events with them?
Some do, but it's we go out maybe once or twice a month. And that's to
that's
show
not bad.
face for a couple hours. They don't expect us to get drunk. We just
good.
have to go show face, be with our coworkers, support the other clubs that are in, our company. And then that's pretty much it. It's nothing.
Oh, good.
It's not.
It used to be a lot more strict
Oh, yeah.
back in the day because I was in that industry as well about 20 years ago.
Yeah. Some clubs would have multiple outings a week.
Yep.
I think you're more doing it now if you are a promoter or you're a club host because that's literally how you get clients.
Right.
Is by going out and bringing them elsewhere. But as far as being a cocktail server, it's like once or twice a month.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
How do you like working in the industry in general? Like, I feel like you're a pretty woman that you probably get hit on all night long. In general, like everybody's hitting on you.
No, not at all.
I mean, do you just like block it or
I think I might just
block it
because people say that people say that to me all the time, and I'm like, I don't really get hit on that much.
You just laugh it off, kind of.
It's just and I also feel like I've heard I'm intimidating, and that goes in, I don't know if that's the whole like masculine energy bullshit we'll probably talk about at some point, but like I really don't put off the vibe that I want to get hit on. So I really don't think I do. Yeah. I'll get compliments all the time. People ask me if I'm single. But that's it. I don't really get those like huge forward advances, but I'm also working. I think if I was out partying, the advances might be more, but I'm putting on a professional, face as much as I can be working in a nightclub.
Right.
But It's fun. Like, it really is fun. I've been doing nightlife on the side since I was 21 years old, so it's been a long time. And it's a cool environment. You get to meet really cool people, but it's exhausting. It's definitely not something you can do forever, obviously. And you really have to kind of know when to turn it off when you leave, because you can carry that stress home with you. The hours are kind of crazy sometimes. It's a really stressful environment when you have so much money going out that you're responsible for, and, you know, signatures and just making sure all your financials are in order because you're responsible and you're basically like an adult babysitter. So it can get really exhausting, but I feel lucky to have that job. People audition, hundreds of girls audition every single year for those jobs. So to have that job, I feel privileged.
The money is amazing.
It's
Still, right?
and working in the nightlife, it doesn't interfere with my normal job. I can go do those crazy hours a little bit, sleep in a little bit, and then go back to my normal.
What are your normal hours?
Great.
At the nightclub, we either go in at 9:45 or 10:30, and then I'm home usually between 4 and 6 a.m.
And then you work in the daytime.
Part-time, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I do personal coaching outside of it, so I kind of make my own hours.
Okay.
So that's nice, but
that's
I just make
perfect.
sure I don't work in the morning on the days after.
Yeah,
sleeping.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
You know, it's very
amazing.
interesting. So you probably don't know this. So I was a cop for 17 years, but when I came out here, my goal was always thinking that, hey, I'll be a cop, and then I'll also be like a host, casino host, or something like that in the
Man
casinos. Not the man whore. I mean,
Caught by day, man whore by night.
maybe I thought about that once, but no. But I was excited about it. Maybe coming from New York City. I mean, actually here 21 years this week, and I just thought it'd be really cool to do both. But what happens is in law enforcement out here, they actually you're not allowed to work in a casino environment because they feel there's possible corruption because you're a cop, you got a gun, you got a badge. But I always, in the beginning, back in the day, I'm here 21 years, the Palms, I had guys that worked at 9, you know, the Ghost Bar and all that good stuff, you know. And I had some friends that, would get us into the club and stuff like that. I always thought it'd be really cool. And I just couldn't do it. But I was always upset that I thought it'd be a cool thing, work during the week and the weekend. And even being just a host, like in the casino floor or something. I mean, you cannot be that. You can't be a locksmith. You can't be like you have to get a lot of approvals for working what they would call, extra employment.
Since you're on the force.
So there's a lot of rules with
selective,
it.
right.
And if you weren't liked or, situations like you just wouldn't get it
It's
approved.
too much of a conflict.
Yeah.
But I was always upset thinking that it would be a lot of fun to do that, when I was younger in general. Now that I'm an old guy,
Too late now, Dave.
So I can always start, right?
Male gigolo, though, you can probably still do. There might be a market for you.
Well, that's why I set up the 1-833 of Gentille because I was going to pimp you out. That's why I set up the phone. I got her a vanity number. She didn't realize what I was trying to do at the time, but as you can see, the phone is ringing slowly.
Right,
it's a slow process. That's why I keep saying it.
One stalker calling me. Great, thanks.
Yeah.
He's like, you're welcome. Like, that's exactly what I wanted.
Exactly.
I'm setting up Gentille for a good future. She's a young lady, and we're trying to get her, set up for the future. You know? So, in regards to your podcast, why'd you start it? How'd you get involved in it?
So I had left a really toxic relationship a couple years ago. And when I finally got the nerve to leave, I felt like I couldn't talk. Like I really had a loss of identity and a loss of sense of self. And it had really broken me down really bad. And I didn't really know what to do to get that back because I was always an extroverted, bubbly, happy person. And I felt like a complete shell of myself. And I always thought that I should talk more because in the past I had done like motivational videos on Instagram, like little 60-second clips to motivate people who followed me in my fitness journey, and I just like lost it. And I moved out and moved into this apartment complex, and they were building out a podcast studio. And like, oh, this is an amenity here at where I live. And I was like, wow, that's really ironic. So I went in there and started practicing speaking again, and it was really awkward. And then I randomly got hit up by Gio, who has Fitness Junkies here. And he asked me to come on his podcast, and I dodged him because I was just like in protection mode, and wound up running into him in the gym, and he convinced me to come on. I was like, okay, this guy's normal. I can go into the studio, and I wound up here.
He's like, come to my studio.
I didn't trust anybody.
He doesn't look trustworthy at all.
Everyone had a motive at this point in my life. I just was so over it. I wanted to isolate myself. So, but long story short, I wound up in here. I met John, and John was like, you need a podcast. And I'm like, I don't know about that.
John says that to everybody. He's in the grocery store.
Yeah, and I was like,
you need a podcast. You know that?
I literally was
He's
like,
selling
you're being
podcasts.
a salesman.
Yeah,
I was like, whatever. And I couldn't afford it.
We're all here because of John's
I know.
sales perspective.
But look how cool that is, though. Like, he has really brought a lot of people together, and that's really amazing. And he was the push I needed, to be honest. And he genuinely believed in it. So I kept recording.
Okay.
And at first it was to kind of bring awareness to things that women can go through in relationships that can really make you lose yourself. Because that's exactly what I was going through. And I thought I needed to talk about it. I had kept so much of what had happened to me hidden because of fear of embarrassment. I couldn't believe that I wound up in the position I did. But then I was like, you know what? This is my story now. I'm going to take it back. So I started bringing on people to share their stories of empowerment and how they got themselves out of shitty situations. And then it started evolving into more stories of just empowerment in general, both men and women who have been through really painful things and how they have taken what they've gone through and made it part of their testimony to success. So we talk about mental health. We talk about for both men and women and any traumas that have led you to using that as like a powerful tool to elevate yourself.
Right.
So it's all feel good. Like I've been through shit and I've used it and now I'm better for it and I want to share my story.
Are you able to give me a little summary of what happened in your relationship? Because I haven't followed you. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what
to
the story
make
is.
the shortest way possible,
Yeah.
I wound up getting engaged to somebody who was not who they said they were and was doing a lot of things behind the scenes and behind my back that were not who they were. And so I dated a complete narcissist. I would even say con artist, to be honest. And he was very believable. And so I kind of got sucked into that. And I wound up being in a relationship that was emotionally and mentally abusive for a while. And
How long were you in that relationship?
almost 3 years.
Okay.
And it was probably bad for about 2 of it from when I started feeling like I started noticing things. And I stayed in it because I didn't know any better. Like I had gotten broken down so much that I don't think I really understood that I should just fucking leave. But I wanted to fix it so bad. And this stems back to things I've personally been through in my own life. And I can understand why I stayed. But I stayed with somebody who was unfaithful and I wanted to make it work. I wanted to see if like maybe there was just an issue we could work through. And I went through the roles of going to therapy and doing all the things. But it like, I just like got to a point where I just couldn't do it anymore. And finally it got so bad that I had to leave.
I think look, relationships are not easy in general. If you don't mind me asking, you don't have to go into detail. How'd you meet him?
On Bumble.
Oh boy. See?
It was my first
Online.
match.
You know, it's funny. I'm not,
Wow.
It's been a long time, right, for me going online, but I used to say like Match was for dating, like just meeting people, you know? And then there was like Plenty of Fish at the time. Like that was just like hooking up. And then but eHarmony was like more for serious people because people had to pay money to be
Right.
part of it. And I always say that someone that pays money to be part of like a online match service,
They're
they're
more
more serious.
I feel like
That
if I
doesn't always
ever had
true.
to do it, you don't, it's like anything else. You just never know. Like you could generalize that statement, but
Yeah.
you don't know.
Yeah.
I personally was going on because I'm so busy. Like it's rare that I was meeting people. So I was like, I know I'm a good person. I know I'm looking for something serious. Maybe there has to be someone else who's looking for something serious, but he sold me a dream. But that's what people like that do.
Gentille sells people dreams too.
I
She's always like, hey, we hang
I'm
out.
in people's dreams.
I-
I don't sell anyone anything.
So the beginning, so basically,
Besides real
like,
estate.
like a lot of relationships in general, like, it's not a perfect situation, but he sold you a dream of like of the future, right?
yeah.
And like you believed in.
Well,
things
what
like-
he said he wanted and the person he said he was, he put on a really good act of like wanting monogamy, wanting a wife, wanting a future. We got engaged after 5 months,
Wow.
which I look back now is probably a little bit of a red flag.
But he was cheating as well, right?
I
You
didn't.
said?
I only found out about that after we got engaged.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, things really changed after that, and I wondered if it was because he felt like I was locked in.
Oh, okay.
I wondered.
Was there multiple women?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, financially, was he lying about that as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Like what he said he had was a lie. There were just so many lies, and I continued to learn about more lies.
Yeah.
Even after this all ended, people would call me and tell me their stories about him and them, and I'm like, oh my God, like. And part of me was like, well, why wouldn't you tell me when I was in it? They either didn't know me well enough, or you don't really see things for face value when you're in them. Sometimes you see it when you're on the outside. So it was eye-opening to me. And then, I had to do a lot of healing on my own because I had to forgive myself for putting up with a lot of things that I shouldn't have put up with, but not understanding at the time why I was putting up with them. I had to do a lot of self-development work to understand that like I was mirroring my mom's relationship. I was mirroring what I grew up with that I didn't know back then. And I I just thought that it was my responsibility to fix it. If there's something going wrong, I need to fix it. Maybe it's me.
Right.
But when you're with somebody like that, you're convinced that it's you.
Absolutely.
And you don't really realize that maybe this person actually just has a problem. Maybe that maybe they enjoy living that life. Maybe they enjoy scamming people.
Yeah.
To this day, I still don't really understand. I will never really know if like that love was actually even there on their part, or if that's what they wanted their image to be so badly that they did whatever they could to make it look like that.
Absolutely.
So it really makes you question people when you've been around somebody who is so manipulative. It makes you question everybody.
Everyone. Yeah, everybody.
So do you feel that you're able, I mean, it's been a while probably, right? To move on, dating other people, stuff like that?
Yeah, and I have. I just...
You're more, what's the word, leery?
Jaded.
To be honest, I think
Larry, yeah.
I did enough healing and I did the work. Like I didn't just go back into the dating pool. I didn't start like partying all the time. I went to therapy. I went to energy work. Like I did self-development classes. I did what I could to make sure that I never repeat the pattern because I recognized my side of it. So when I went back into dating, I understood what I had done in the past. Now I have more boundaries. I don't feel like I'm jaded where I'm like, I'll never trust a man again, or I never want to date again, or fuck men. I never actually ever got to that part because I took the time to realize like what happened logically.
Right.
But it still hurts. Now you enter into relationships with your guards a little bit different because you know what can happen. You don't have that like story that they drill into us of like Cinderella and her Prince Charming and you just come get rescued. Like it's not like that anymore.
But do you think all these experiences that we go through that's jaded us affects our next relationship regardless, right? Like,
yeah.
So many people are willing to just walk away now. Once you see that red flag, it's kind of like, uh-oh, wait a minute. You're not gonna stay to try. You're like, you know what? There's a red flag. I'm leaving. And do you feel this is the reason why so many relationships just don't, progress or even fail in a very short period of time?
I don't even think it's because of the red flags. I think it's because people aren't being honest with themselves about what they really want in their relationships. And so people are entering in being like, yes, I want this relationship, but they're not taking into consideration. Maybe they don't want to be monogamous and they're not telling their partner that.
Right.
And then like 6 months, a year in, they want to experience with all these other people when they told their partner from the very beginning, I want a monogamous relationship.
Yeah.
And it kind of like pulls the wool over their eyes. Or maybe they're not honest about not being ready to be so committed.
Yeah.
Or they get involved too fast where they don't get to know somebody well enough in advance. So they don't see the things that are actually going to be like really big problems.
Right.
Like later on in life, they're just looking at it at face value and not, is this person somebody I could actually do life with? Are we good problem solvers together? Are we, good for each other? Do we have the same values?
Sure.
It's just like the hookup culture,
But in your opinion, how many percentage of men are into monogamy? Honestly.
Oh my God.
Sir,
It's like rare now. And
right?
this is something that I've gotten into debates about because there's men who say you need to accept that you are not going to find a high value man who wants to be monogamous. And my argument was define what your definition of high value man is, because yours and mine are going to be different.
Right.
These days for Gentille, we're just looking for someone breathing.
That's a pulse.
Hopefully
that's
5'11".
for you.
Hopefully 5'11".
Whatever.
Right? Brown hair?
5'11" and high, and taller. Yes, I have my criteria. Yeah,
Everyone has their criteria.
Yeah, I know what I'm attracted to or not.
Yeah,
I
So
know.
when Black Ice was on here, basically he kept questioning her about that. What's your list and stuff. It was kind of fun and cute at the same time to see these people go back and forth and debate the situation. I do believe a lot of things that he says, but that's not true for everybody, for every man and woman.
Well, and that was my argument
People
with
change
him too.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you are so rigid with how you're blanketing your statements and like throwing out like your crazy amount of statistics that you fucking memorized. Like, it's not that
He's
black.
like a book.
Yeah, and I mean,
It's like per labor statistics.
It isn't.
Oh my
2.5.
God, I have,
right. It's
I
not
have
that black and
respect.
white.
Yeah, I have respect for him as a person, like understanding all of these like scientific ideologies, which we can't argue about with the way evolution is. I fucking get it. You don't need to like drill it into my head. That's when I wanted to shake him. But he couldn't even like take a second for me to explain to him. Like, I was like, tell me your definition of high value. And he went off about all these things. I'm like, not once did you include honesty, integrity, sense of humor, like your ability to compromise. You went right into financial stability and success, which I understand that men base their what's the word? They base their status on that. But if you're looking for a partner and you ask some women, some of my traits that I would consider high value in a man are not based off monetary value.
Right. Or looks.
Yes, you need those to survive. And he's going to go on this big evolutionary talk about like how we survive. I get that, but there is more to it.
Well, what he was saying with Gentille, which was interesting, that because she's very successful, if she dates someone that's basically below her in regards to financial, success, that it's always going to be weird, the relationship, because like men are hunters and females women are gatherers, and then if he's not basically bringing home
the bacon,
the food, the bacon, that she's looking down on him because of the success. Personally, I don't know. When I got married, it was actually, and he is right what he said. To me, I didn't care what my wife was making. I didn't care what she was doing. I found her attractive. She was small. She was petite, brown hair, brown eyes. It was basically what I wanted in general, like if that was on a list per se.
Right.
But I didn't really care what she was making, and I knew that she was working.
But that's because she wasn't making a whole lot more than he was. So I think for
more
most,
equal, you're saying.
Yeah, I mean for most men though, I'm telling you, when the factor comes in and she's way more successful than them financially, it does become a problem. Yeah. In the beginning, you guys say it's not a problem, but it is a problem.
It wears on you in some way at some point.
I guess you could say it depends. Like if you were making $100,000 and the girl is making like $300,000 or $500,000, a lot more, I guess per se. But yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, it definitely does come up in general. That's why she needs to give all her money to me as like a nonprofit.
Then I'll be fine.
She should give it to the problem solver nonprofit.
Then I can find a husband.
She'll finally get this great guy because she's like, hey, I don't have that much money.
So what if you met the woman, say like you weren't married and you met the woman of your dreams and she was making way more than you? Would you literally just like cancel it out because you can't
Personally with me, I don't really, I'd actually be impressed like for her to be successful and stuff like that. I mean, I'm impressed by people's success. I actually...
no, he would hang out with her and bang her for a while and maybe use her money, But
would you marry her?
But he probably won't marry her.
I wouldn't have a problem. If anything, I would be like impressed. I would be impressed by someone's success with it. It's not something negative, that for me.
Yeah, because I wondered that.
I probably would just ask for like a little bit of allowance.
Right.
On a weekly basis. Like, hey, you might get like $5,000.
What if she said you have to sign a prenup? Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, I mean,
you're dating someone for a while. For like
to me, I wasn't about the money situation. It's like you want to be with someone that's a good person that you're attracted to, and so on. And
I actually have a lot of friends who are in relationships that it is the opposite because women are making a lot of money on social media these days.
Oh yes.
And he makes a little bit less than her. It's literally the opposite. He's a barber, loves his job, super passionate, but she makes a shit ton of money. And we had the conversation about it. He's like, I'm her biggest supporter.
Oh, that's
like,
good. Yeah,
I guess
we're partners. I treat her like a woman. Like I date her. I'm her husband. She happens to make more money than me, but it doesn't bother me. I'm like,
I think it depends on the person. It depends upon their age, what they're doing. Every situation is different. Personally, I got married when I was like 34 and she was younger. I think it was better that I was older. I was in Vegas when I came when I was 26. So basically, I was, not married for 8 years while out here. I went out and I was younger. So I think it just depends upon the age. I think if you want to get married to a guy that's 23, that's been in like one relationship or two relationships, right? They haven't experienced things. By the time he's 30, it's a different guy. At 40, he's a different guy. And that's the problem with men and women. Sometimes like they change over every 10 years.
Age is tough.
But I think it's probably the relationship that they both have with each other, right? Like who is more, who is the forceful or, the personality and the attitude probably has a lot to do with it instead of just the money. Right. Because a lot of times whoever has the most money makes the decisions, right? And
typically,
why?
I
Why is
so.
So most of the time, not all the time.
True.
Yeah.
Are you okay with if you're in a relationship with somebody, even though you have more money and he's takes money out of your account, or would you say something?
He's going to take money out of my account?
What?
But like for what
Why?
though?
If you're married, right? You're going to buy something. I want to go buy a car.
If we're married, well, I don't know. I'm not married. I haven't been married, so
would you sign a prenup no matter who in the future? No matter who the person is, would you sign a prenup?
Well, it depends. Yeah, it depends.
If they have more money, then you would say no.
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
If I'm totally in love with that person.
So two things.
Yeah, hard to say.
So we have some super fans that watch the show. So super fan Steve.
Yes. What's he saying?
As he's listening, he says, "Tell Gentille that I'm 1,000% monogamous, and I'll sign a prenup if she wants." And he's ready and available. He's been dodging his call and wants to know, should he call 1-833 Gentille?
What? haven't been dodging his call. He calls me.
I told him to call
he
you.
calls me every day.
I told him he's got to be very alpha male.
He texts me every day.
I said you have to grab Gentille and just basically take her out. That's it. No.
Okay, yeah, no, that's all right.
A lot of
No,
women.
you
like
can't just
not like take you in the car in a van and take you away.
That sounded creepy.
Yeah, but just like go take the girl out. Just take some action. Would you agree?
Come on, he won't even show up an event.
I agree.
Just to meet me.
I told him. I mean, he's not me.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit different story. And then he also stated, he goes that Christina sounds like the Tinder swindler story.
Tinder swindler.
Oh, it honestly.
Wait,
when I watched it, I was like the whole time because I'm like, oh my god, this is making me
life.
feel like this happened to me. Minus like the big financial stuff, but it was more based off like my emotion and like what I was going through. I was so swindled, honestly, into thinking that like he wanted me to be his wife. Like I had a freaking ring on my finger. Like it was wild, and everything I found out like behind the scenes was so like slimy.
Yeah.
It was unreal. Like at the time we had moved to Vegas. Every time I'd go back to California for work, because at the time I was like still transferring like my business, he had another girl at the house every time I was gone, and did so well at hiding it. So when I found out, it was so like the rug ripped out from underneath me.
God, devastating.
Which gave me a ton of complex post-traumatic stress. So it sent me more into like fight or flight mode, which, if you're living in such a chaotic place in your head, you aren't able to make logical decisions about what's happening right in front of you because you have so much brain fog that you can't see straight. So
what industry was he in, if I may ask?
Fitness.
He was in fitness.
Yeah, but it was more on the like influencer social media fitness side than the actual just like trainer in the gym. Like you have a personal training business. It was a lot of online stuff, but he had a big social media following. I just think the image that he is trying to like live up to, or was at that time, he couldn't keep up with it. And the image of us really like padded all of this toxicity that was behind the curtains. So like, when they say like dealing with a narcissist or sociopath is like having the wool pulled over your eyes, or it's like having like a wolf in sheep's clothing, it is exactly that. So it's wild.
I experienced a couple narcissists, but I was able to recognize it. I'm like, oh,
I'll spot it now.
Yeah.
I've got like a freaking radar.
Away from me.
What's the checklist? Like
how do you know they're narcissistic? Yeah. Oh God!
They look in the mirror.
Because like the thing is, people can be narcissistic.
Yeah.
Like
am I narcissistic?
We are. I think every one of us is to a certain degree, right? We like the way we look and all that.
But there's a
stuff.
disorder.
Yeah.
So tell me, like what?
Well,
am I a narcissist?
No, I don't think
she goes.
Just kidding. Well, I'll have to evaluate a little bit.
Check my list here.
Yeah, but see, we're on a different capacity. You only find out they're narcissistic when you're actually in a relationship with them. Okay. There's the love bombing, right? There's a lot of that, and then gaslighting. A lot of gaslighting. Narcissistic people make jokes, but they put you down at the same time as they're making the joke. So there's a lot of other things too. But no, I mean, I don't think you are. I mean, I don't think you've is it gaslighting? Gaslighting.
Yeah,
I've heard that before. What exactly? Someone was saying it too. Is it just
making you like deny your reality? It'd be like me coming home and being like, I'll give you a great example. My ex didn't drink, and we had a bottle of champagne in the refrigerator from our engagement party. And when I came home from a trip, it was open. It was halfway open. I'm like, why is this open? He's like, you opened it. I'm like, no, I didn't. I'm like, why? Like, who drank this? He's like, I wanted to taste it. Is there a problem with that? And I'm like, you don't drink alcohol. And he's like, you must have opened it then, kind of thing. It's like doing things to deny your reality when right in front of your face, it's blatantly obvious. So when you do that enough to somebody, it actually starts fucking up their head, neurologically. Like there is brain scans of people who have been through narcissistically abusive relationships. It changes your brain chemistry. Like it actually does mental
all the time,
damage.
like that type of thing?
I mean, there's levels. There's definitely levels
Have
to
you
like
experienced
this
that
kind
too?
of stuff. But
What?
Have you experienced that concept?
Similar. I mean, the narcissist that I dealt with would joke like I would wear this and like, oh honey, oh wow, you look you look cute. But oh my God, there's so many stripes on that outfit, shit like that, right? And I'm like, huh, just weird stuff.
Just like weird stuff to make you question.
Sounds like you gotta go up to the guy and just slap him in the face.
To make you doubt yourself.
That's
right?
more,
Make you doubt yourself, okay.
You're like, oh wow, do I look bad? Oh,
Yeah.
But it sounded like he gave me a compliment, but then he
took it back a little bit.
Yeah, and then he like dissed me right after.
Like regressed a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just back and forth.
It makes you like see yourself in a weird way.
I think it's hard when you have a relationship with someone, especially if you have kids or you're married for a while, because then you say to yourself, like, you're more committed in the relationship and whether it's finances and different things. Look, relationships are not easy. Look, 50-60% people in divorce and situation, and it's not easy in general. I mean, there's counseling, there's therapy, but I always feel like if you're just dating or you're engaged and you're going for therapy, like it's just not a good sign for the future.
I don't know about that because like
you think that if I'm 25 years old and we're both 25, we're dating, we have some issues, and we go for like therapy together at 25 before we even engage or marry, you think that the
I think
therapist
that's healthy.
It's healthy?
To be honest with you, I feel like there's a lot of relationships that have worked out that wish they were in therapy sooner, that wish they would have gone before there were actually really bad issues. Because if you're in like, let's say like you're a year in and you're having problems navigating something, it could be as simple as going into a therapist and having them help you work through both of your triggers from your own past, so you understand what you've been bringing into your relationship, so you actually fix it moving forward. Because once it's too far gone, then it's too fucking far gone. Once there's been infidelity, once there's like been things that you could have potentially worked through by just like understanding that maybe there were some childhood wounds of your own and maybe some of mine that are triggering, and that your relationship's a mirror. So if they're bringing up something for you, it might be something that you haven't faced within yourself. And if you're having a hard time navigating it, therapy is just a tool. But I think it's different if you're like so toxic with each other that like you're like, I don't even know like what a good example is, but if it's so toxic that you know you should be out, I think that's different. Like just end the relationship. But if you're just having issues, go see if you can work through it.
Therapy. Okay, so you believe if people have a problem with a relationship that they should at least try therapy?
At least try it. Yeah. Why not? It's just a tool. I think it used to be taboo that if you went to therapy, like you're fucked, or like you're in a position where like one of you is broken.
Right.
But that ideology also keeps people from going to therapy because they're like, oh no, I can't go do that. That's wrong. That means I'm a bad person, or that means like
there's something wrong with me.
Yeah, it's not like that. And I'm like an advocate because it's helped me a ton.
I always laugh because we had Beja, who was a co-host as well for the show one time. She was on the show talking about how that she, for like mental health, that she was on a, like, what do you call that? Telehealth for counseling. And she said that there was like 11 guys that were on the call with her. It was just her and 11 guys. And she was so impressed with all these men trying to get help. So I said to her.
That's awesome.
They're just trying to get
There's
laid.
a twist.
Oh,
There's a twist.
Damn it.
I said to her.
God damn it.
I'll send you the episode. God bless her, Beja. I'll see the episode. But what I say to her is, I'm like, listen, no offense. You did two things. One, that was a mandatory class for domestic violence that you went for those guys in that class.
No.
Or two, they knew there was a good-looking Latina going to be on that call.
All of a sudden, I need help.
All of a sudden, there's 11 guys that need help, and her. And she's like, oh my God, these guys it's so great how men are getting help. And I'm like, and then she was pissed. I was like, look, as a cop, there's no way 11 guys are trying to get help. And we said, no, guys most likely don't go get help.
But see, that's what
may blow our
pisses me off.
heads away, but they're not going to go get help.
But that's the problem. And I just interviewed a vet the other day, and we talked about this. Men are scared to ask for help because guys make fucking fun of it. It's so bad that, men say that they're not heard and they're not seen, but all men do is talk shit to their friends for needing help. Like they are, and women too, I'm sure, but like it shouldn't be like that.
We said that in the police world, myself and Danny, if someone said, do you need help, or if someone passed away, we always would say, we're fine.
Because you're taught to say, you're fine.
It's not even taught, because we knew that other cops would make fun of you, kind of like a fraternity. They're like, oh my God, did you see that he's seeing the shrink, that he's messed up? And then people wouldn't want to work with you on the street because this guy needs help. That
they think you're not strong. They think you're not
pull the trigger.
1,000 years of conditioning.
Yeah, it's conditioning. That's the
male
word.
Conditioning. Yes.
That's the word I was looking for.
Men are horrible.
Yeah, thousands.
But
of
I
years
actually,
of that.
if I met a man and they told me that they see a therapist, I mean, I would definitely do my digging to figure out like what the.
So we started dating. I'm like, you know what? I'm actually
how
going
deep
to
that issue is.
If I'm going to a therapist because I have some issues.
What issues? And I'm not.
What
and
issues
not
would
judging.
be good?
Not judging.
If I just
you
say,
off
you know
those
what?
issues.
I'm just sometimes.
What medication you're taking?
Sometimes I feel a little negative. I get depressed once in a while.
And you go see a
therapist. But I really like you. And I want to go out with you.
I'm not going to judge you off that.
You telling me you would go out with me if I tell you that I'm seeing a therapist.
I go to a therapist.
Yeah.
Like
that should be okay.
I just don't think that. Well, I don't think you should be dating guys that tell you that if they go for therapy, I don't think that's a good guy to go out with.
If he's going to therapy and taking medication for schizophrenia,
that
or something
I might
like
avoid.
That, yeah.
I'm just saying,
maybe we should ask you, like, hey, do you take any prescribed medication?
Let me rephrase. Say I went on a date with you and you you had some PTSD, and I found out you had PTSD. And you told me that you see somebody regularly. I'm going to think that's admirable. Not even military, but if you have PTSD from something that you went through, it doesn't have to. I have PTSD from not military stuff. It's from a fucking ex-boyfriend. Yeah. Some guy could think I'm could think I'm psychotic. If I told you and you just met me and I was like, oh yeah, and we got into talking and I was like, yeah, I see a therapist, and you said, what for? I'm like, well, I've had some issues from what my ex did to me. How quickly would you might write me off because I'm broken or I'm used goods if fucking, some men
well, you're
wanna
really
say.
hot, so they'll give you a chance.
But see, that's also frustrating. but I guess what I'm trying to say is like it's not
Well, two things. Some crazy guys.
ugly and going to therapy. Like
you don't have a shot.
it's so
girl.
fucked up. Like it's just I get that's the way things are. Like you make your judgments off people, but I'm just trying to say that like going to therapy shouldn't be something that you're completely judged for. Yeah. I would actually think that you're more emotionally stable if you're in an understanding of like yourself. That's kind of
personally, if you ask me, I would not, especially being a female, I wouldn't tell a guy that I'm going for therapy because I think it's kind of like your private situation.
Well, I don't think that's a first date dinner conversation.
Right. No, I'm just saying, but I would think like, oh my God, there's something wrong with this girl. She's broken. And some crazy guy will say, oh, I can fix her. Or I can,
and that's
or I can control her.
bait.
Or I can control her. So I think that you're more likely to be victimized if you tell a guy.
Yeah. You have to
most guys.
You have to be careful.
Yeah.
You have to be really fucking careful because those narcissists.
Those are private things, I think.
They look for women to prey on who need them, who need, they can manipulate them in some way. So you have to be careful. I wouldn't divulge that information until you're really like invested in somebody. Plus, telling someone your traumas right away is also like not a good look. Like you really have to like have some boundaries with that too, because oversharing is also a sign of like an unhealed person. So you don't just like dump on somebody.
Right.
Like,
and think you're gonna have a bond.
Yeah.
The bond's gonna be stronger. But
it's not.
You need to be careful too, because men will judge you depending on how old you are as a woman and you've never been married or had kids.
Yeah, because apparently if I'm over 26 years old, I'm ruined goods.
Yeah, over 26. Your value in the sexual your value in the sexual place goes down.
Yeah, I was like,
after
that's
26, right? So can you imagine if you're 30?
I was like, I am 10 times
married?
better looking than I was at 26 years old.
Right.
So please tell me my chances have gone down, because that's not what the men
it's
say.
interesting. So when I was dating, let's say I was 20 or 30 and I was dating in general, someone would say, oh, how many kids do you have? Or thinking that I was married and divorced. And I feel like I was being judged that I wasn't divorced. Like it actually would be a good thing if I was divorced and had a kid, because these other women that I was dating basically had kids or were divorced. I feel like I was getting, what's the word? I just feel like I was getting smack for not being divorced. Like it was like a better situation if I already had a divorce.
I guess
It's a weird situation.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I see.
Because you've been divorced, so they think you should be divorced. And I was like, no. So they think something's wrong with you that you've not been married,
right?
Or you weren't committed,
absolutely,
in a relationship. But isn't it good that I'm not married and I'm not committed? I wasn't committed to somebody.
It's so situational.
I'm waiting for the right person.
It's like we talked earlier. You can't blanket these statements so hard, because like you don't know someone's situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe you just didn't find the right person and you didn't want to commit to that.
Yeah.
Versus maybe you got married 3 times. Like, oops.
Yeah.
I didn't learn.
You judge either way. You
get judged no matter what. That's
way.
why I feel like it's crazy. Like I get the age thing to a degree, where men, if they're looking to have a family, they're looking to have a child with that person, maybe they want someone who is younger that hasn't had a marriage before. I can't knock somebody for wanting what they want. I just think it's really fucked up to say that you're basically ruined if you don't. If you're over that age limit, or if you like are too caught up in your own successes. Well, what would you like me to do if I haven't found a partner?
Right.
Like
go kill myself?
Or like
pretty much.
Sit here and like wait patiently for Prince Charming to come swoop me up off Sunset. Like
we should just kill ourselves, because no one's going to want us.
If I'm a single woman, I'm going to do the best I can to make myself the most successful that I can. Because who knows who's coming?
Exactly.
Well, Billy just came to your rescue.
Billy came to my rescue. Oh my God.
By the way, I don't even know who Billy is. So
I just met him.
Oh, did you?
I don't know.
Who was that other guy?
I wasn't really sure. Random people who walk around the studio.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, you don't know them either?
Sometimes
I text him because he was asking me like to confirm, and I'm like, I just ran out of gas.
I always tell people.
And I text John. John's like, are you stuck? He's like, I'm sending somebody.
I always tell people now 5 o'clock.
Cute.
Yeah, what's going on with Billy? Billy maybe he saved you.
She doesn't know him.
I don't know him.
Right,
she doesn't know any of them.
He was here hanging out. I thought he was like, I saw he ran out. He was helping you with the car. It was like shining
likes to
night.
Put people together.
Billy is a security guard.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, is he? Here?
Yeah, at a very high like value place.
He's high value.
High value place.
You should.
That word like grinds my fucking gears,
By
you
the way,
guys.
you should have a shirt that says, "Are you high value?" with a question mark.
Oh my god,
then-
it's
There
just
we go.
like I still am like
And then
seeing-
fearless AF on the back. Are
That
you high value?
interview bothered
Please-
me so bad.
Please let me know if you're high value in your shirt.
Yeah,
Oh, did you have a podcast with Black Ice?
we had a debate.
Debate
because
Okay,
of John
great.
Orlando.
Okay, great.
This John Orlando
That
guy is
might
really
be
a
good.
horrible
Yeah.
situation.
My problem with that was like I'm not a feminist. So like I am not the opposite of what he is. I actually understand
Yes.
some of his ideology, not even his ideologies, but the ideologies that he talks about. So I'm not going to fight back because I get it. I'm just expressing from like a woman's point of view that is not actually argumentative.
Right.
Like how just a different idea. And when I saw his army of people that want to comment about like how I'm so like hard to deal with and
Really?
argumentative, and I'm just like, that was argumentative to you? I literally spoke calmly, politely, and low volume the
Yes.
entire time. Let him speak, and we had a It wasn't even a debate, unfortunately. They wanted us to like really go at it, and we just had a discussion. And I'm like, if those are the kind of men that are following you and think what I was saying was argumentative, that is wild.
It's
because
disturbing that
it's
there's so many
disturbing.
men that has his mind frame.
Yeah,
right?
and they're like, no wonder she's single. She's gonna die alone with her cats and all this
Yeah.
crap. And I'm like, I literally was just expressing a different point of view without even being that crazy feminist that you guys all hate, which I don't agree with feminism. I really
yeah.
like the degree of what it's gotten to. It's fucking wild.
Well, it's extreme on both
Extremists,
sides.
right.
Yeah. The
Right.
men and women,
Right.
they've just gone very
But I was
extreme.
like really fucking frustrated because he's like, all you've done for yourself is not admirable. He's like, and I'm like, that's funny.
Wow.
Because you don't say that off camera.
Wow.
But I'm like, what would you expect? Because he knows about my past. I'm like, what would you expect me to do after that happened? I would think a man would meet me and be like, wow, that's really admirable what you've done for yourself. In the meantime, I don't expect you to have to hold up this like masculine shield forever. But that's what I talk about in my podcast to women. You can't be so masculine after you've done the work that you keep that up. You have to like let it down in your relationship, but have it in your business. You can like have your own back. But when it comes to relationships, you need the balance. But he didn't want to have that conversation that like you can have both.
Wow. Have
So
you
it's
guys
just
heard
tricky.
of, I'm sorry, have you guys heard of this, I guess it's a group or a belief system now, but there's a group of men, it's called MGTOW, men going their own way. And one of my friend who is actually a big celebrity in Hollywood, he's part of that movement. It's a movement.
Sounds like a bunch of hurt feelings.
Yeah, let me look it up.
As you look it up, we're gonna showcase your intro on the big screen here. Your intro.
Here it is.
Yeah, I had exited out of it while pulling up the Zoom link, so you'll have to give me another second.
Here it is.
This guy's very slow.
Men going their own way. So it is an
Sounds like it's going-
anti-feminist, misogynistic, mostly online community advocating for men to separate themselves from women and from a society which they believe have been corrupted by feminism. The community is a part of the...
Sorry.
Yeah, almost done. The community is part of the Manosphere, a collection of anti-feminist websites and online communities that also include the men's right movement, incels, and pickup artists.
They are literally being feminist as men. Like they are doing the
Yes.
exact same thing that the feminists are. So what the fuck
Yeah.
are you actually doing?
Yeah.
You're literally becoming what you hate, but as a man.
You're right.
And that's where like no one's healing and no one's coming together is
no.
where you're literally, you think you're doing something, but you're dividing it even more.
Absolutely. And they believe of not getting married. These
So-
guys, MGTOW guys, do not want to get married because they think the women are going to take their money, basically.
Everyone's just
Yeah.
a bunch of hurt little kids. Like I see a bunch of inner children just screaming.
Yeah.
Like
I guess what's I think is hard. I think both of you are beautiful women, and I think it's gonna be hard because I feel you guys are hit on all the time. Like, how do you decipher these guys that come at you? We talked about the the whistling.
We don't
and
give
stuff
them
like
the
that.
punani.
you just don't respond. And then you get called a bitch for not responding.
Exactly.
Because
That's
it's
what's
also-
wild.
They,
Is like
they get upset. And they keep trying, and then they become really angry with you. They
Yeah.
start calling you
Or-
all sorts of names.
or there's men that don't, like we were talking about earlier, that don't want a woman who like has a career or has themselves like too stable, because it's not as easy to approach them or control them or to even have relationships with them because they don't want that. Like
They want to have control.
they do. And I mean, I got in that argument, that debate with Davrick about it, because I was like, your girlfriend doesn't work. Your girlfriend, and that's the agreement that you guys have. That's cool. That's fine. Like if she wants to be the mother to your kids that aren't even hers, that's fine. There's women who don't want to do that, who still want to have their career, but still want a masculine, healthy man and want to be in like a semi-traditional relationship where they are monogamous. That still can happen. Like your woman needs to have some a balance of masculinity to like balance herself out. They just can't have both. Just like men need femininity in some degree. Like if you have a daughter, you're going to be a little bit softer to your daughter. So like hopefully, and that's the balance of it. We need both. That's why it's duality.
Would you be okay if you got married to somebody and they said, look, we want you just to stay home, take care of the kids, and you don't have to work? Are you okay with that?
If I felt like I could still have my passions, like my projects, like if I could still do my podcast, sure. I would ditch the nightclub. I would ditch my coaching. I would just have something that made me happy that I could like have a little side to keep my identity. But I'm not going to completely just be a mom for the rest of my life. Like I see so many depressed moms, like the percentage, if you want to talk statistics, like the percentage of women who are losing themselves and depressed in their marriages is crazy. It's crazy high. And it's because they've lost themselves. It's not the actual marriage or the family that's making them sad. It's because they've lost their identity within their marriage. So finding that balance is so important. To maintain your mental health. That's not saying you need some crazy 6-figure career, but like have something that makes you happy so you don't lose you.
But that's why there's a lot of divorces nowadays. I think people are just starting to walk away.
Yeah,
right?
Instead of just trying to find that. But yes, to answer your question, like if I was in a secure relationship and I trusted my man to not fuck me over, I could do that. But that's what's scary is like you're giving up your financial stability to be like, okay, my man's got me. I've done this before. I wound up having to leave a relationship where I was broke, had no car because I trusted this man to take care of me. And then I find out that he's not taking care of me. And now I gave up my career. I have to start all over again. I have $0. Like how the fuck, like what am I supposed to do? Unless there was like a prenup signed or something where I knew I was entering in this marriage where, okay, if you screw me over, we've made an agreement that like we financially will be taken care of on our own sides. So there has to be some safety net. And I think people are looking at it like, well, if you need a backup plan, do you really trust me? Well, look at the statistics. Bring up the stats.
That's why we need Black Ice in here to give us all the stats. He's full of stats.
It just runs circles around me in stats when you're avoiding my questions. Like there's other questions that need to be asked and talked about that don't involve statistics.
He's got like a full book, like labor statistics and
it's like wild.
2.5.
Well, the thing with life,
I do like Black Ice. I do like you as well in regards. It's not easy relationship in general. Everyone's a different relationship. It's not easy. Vegas makes it a little bit more difficult because of the strip and clubbing and stuff like that. But things happen over drugs.
Life is not easy.
And then being married is not easy, right?
Hell no.
I'm sure you do a lot of coaching, and a lot of these women probably tell you, "Oh my God, my husband, I'm not happy," right?
I'm just trying to help them find themselves again, and that's like the.
So that's what you're really doing when
that's what it is. I'm not trying to be like, fuck your husband. I'm literally like, let's find you again so you can make a better decision and figure out if this is like, did you just lose yourself and it's causing rifts in your relationship, or are you getting abused? Because there's a big difference. And most of them, I just help them find themselves again, get them back in the gym, get them on their routines again, get them feeling good again so that they can be like, okay, maybe this isn't as bad as I thought. Maybe I just needed more of myself so that my husband can see who he fell in love with again. Like, it's not about just like, fuck the feminine, masculine relationship or like, fuck the dude. It's like, let me help you help your relationship. That's what it is.
I like that. You said, let me find you, right?
Yeah, like I want you to find you again.
Can you help me find Gentille again? She's lost.
I know.
She's still trying to find her.
So lost.
She needs some help. Let's play the
Amazing I'm Still Alive
AF intro.
Okay.
See, look.
Let me unmute it.
Paused again. It's always paused.
We got sound?
Oh, I thought we did.
Ooh.
Hold on. Well,
is that you?
We'll actually get flagged for copyright anyways, so we'll play without
that song I played to it, we need to change, unfortunately.
Okay.
But I think it's a great intro video.
Cool. Thank you.
If you don't mind just singing a little tune, Chase, for us.
That's all I got, actually.
What?
Okay.
That's my new.
Replay it and sing.
Play it one more time.
Okay.
Chase likes to
Replay
sing.
it and sing. Come on.
Yeah, hold on a second. Hold on.
Yeah,
I think we should keep this
we
audio,
need, we,
too.
we need the music. We need the music.
Could you imagine that you just hear Chase's voice?
Let's see what
And you can just use it. You can use him.
Look at that. Christina Lauren on the Fearless as Collective. And she's working out here. And it's really, but that Fearless Collective.
There you go. I like it.
That was so brilliant.
You should use that.
I'm sweating.
You're
I'm
amazing,
sweating.
Chase.
I think you should use that.
You're
All right,
amazing.
one more time in opera?
No.
No opera format? Okay. No, I think it's a great video. Who made the video?
I have never met him before, but it's a graphic designer that I've talked to quite a bit about spirituality and just like empowerment on social media. I got a reference and I sent him the videos at the time where I was feeling like all those videos were at very interesting times, like during my relationship where I felt really small. But they all kind of symbolized a growth pattern. No one will know that but me watching it.
So
but
it's uplifting, I guess.
it
to
was
you
uplifting. Yeah. And the song that was to it was a song that I kind of found about like finding yourself and like getting like more positive during that time too. So it was a little personal, but like I said, when I first started this, it was so personal. Until I understood what the bigger message was. And that was actually giving people a platform to tell their stories, which helped me, and I want to help them. And I turned my like people pleaser tendencies into the best version of people pleasing I possibly could, and that's actually helping others. And that's how I paid it forward.
That's amazing.
When do you have your show? How does it work?
I record on Fridays, and then it gets launched once a week. So we either drop, depending on how we've done, it'll get launched on Wednesdays or Fridays.
Got it.
So once a week.
Did you ever get married?
No.
I mean, are you? No.
No, we were engaged for
You've never
2
been
years.
married now?
No.
Okay. Are you dating?
I'm dating.
Oh, okay,
yes.
good.
I've been dating the same person for about a year.
Oh,
and they always, thank you. They always say like the first healthy relationship outside of a toxic one is even sometimes harder for different reasons. And that, like I was telling you earlier, like relationships are a mirror. They really show you what you need to work on for yourself too. And like, let's say you're triggered by something. The other person, even if they're healthy, can trigger something in you that needs healing. So it shows you a whole nother layer of like what needs to get solved outside of your toxicity. So it's really interesting. And that's why I was mentioning the whole therapy being a good thing, because I was going to therapy towards the end of that toxic relationship to like help me understand what all of these terms were about, like narcissism and like gaslighting, because I had no idea. But now I'm like, okay, I should talk to a therapist to understand how I can take my triggers from my past and not bring them into my current relationship. And that's the kind of therapy I think when I hear somebody going, I'm like, good for you. Like, that's fucking awesome. You're doing the work.
Oh, that's great.
I think so.
I went to therapy one time, and
A week or?
Well, it was about a month, maybe.
Month ago?
No, not a month ago.
4 month.
Come on, this was like 10 years ago.
I'll pay for
I was in a
therapy.
relationship, and it was pretty bad, and a lot of stuff happened. I was very traumatized. I was very traumatized. It was the most traumatizing relationship I've ever been in. Anyways, so I went to therapy afterwards to figure out what was wrong with me and why I attracted that person. Right. So the doctor, after seeing me for a while, she's like, well, just letting you know, Gentille, there's nothing wrong with you. I'm like, no. There's got to be something wrong with me.
You're like, lay it on me.
Yeah, please, just help me here. Why am I attracting him or that type of person? And she's like, there's nothing wrong with you. You just have to wait until you meet the right person that's going to love you.
Just wasn't the right fit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, there's got to be something wrong with me.
You're like, dig in there, please.
Yeah. So what were we saying?
I got a question
Sorry?
for you. It's funny. Super fan Black Ice is watching.
Of course.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, but I feel like he's in the comment here for me to
Is he
ask.
watching?
Can I also just say this? Daverick and I have no problem with each other. Like when we joke, we
It's
joke.
cute. It's
Yeah.
cute in general.
I think the studio here wanted us to have more of a problem with each other, and
It
they're-
makes the show
I think
better.
next time there'll be like a battle.
I'm not that person though.
Makes the show
we
better.
want to take you to the Tournament of Kings. You guys can
Just
fight
have like
on
a
horse.
fucking throwdown, like gauntlet.
Reality shows the same way.
I think people
They
want to
have
see you basically
make
just
drama.
like just start kissing. You know what
That's
I'm saying?
awkward.
Oh
I
my
think that's what people
God.
want to see. Like you just like fall in love with each other.
He has a girlfriend.
Jesus. Yeah,
But
and she has a boyfriend.
He's not married, but I'm just saying. I think people want to see that.
You see the
No, I'm
mentality
saying.
of a man.
He's
He's not married.
He's not locked in the
Just
government.
We are different.
He's not locked
We are
in the,
different.
He's not
Totally
locked.
different.
He's not locked in the government contract like I am. He's dating. You know what I'm saying?
He's just living vicariously through all these
He's
other
like, this is
guys.
what I want to
So
happen.
here's a question
Exactly.
for you. I actually feel a little he's super fan Black Ice.
Super fan.
He says Christina's good people, but he wrote a comment here
What'd he
to
say?
ask you. But I kind of feel it's kind of like a little bit of like victimization by saying what he's asking. Do you want to hear what he said?
Ask it.
Yeah, might as well.
He said, "Ask
Maybe
her why
he's stirring
she's
the
still
pot.
ask why she's still not married in her mid-30s with no kids as a result of your mindset."
So I was in a relationship to get married and have kids. Yes, it was the wrong
But the
person,
guy screwed
but
it up.
that was the route I was going to take. And so I'm 35 now. I met him. Oh my gosh. I met him when I was 31. And I don't feel like that's too old of an age to reach a relationship.
I think he's
where
saying that you have a different mindset, but the truth is, you're saying in that relationship you were victimized by the guy. So at the end result, you didn't get married to the guy because
feel
you were
like-
victimized.
Yeah, I feel like my situation is like doesn't happen all of the time. Like,
Probably happens
and
quite
so
a bit in Vegas.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like I wound up in that situation longer than I should have. I should have left earlier. But even after you leave a toxic relationship, there needs to come a framework of like healing. If you jump right into the next relationship, or I just went out, oh my God, I need to find the next guy to give me babies. Like I'm gonna wind up right back in the same situation I was. So I took time to heal, make sure I was the kind of person that I wanted to meet. Like you have to do that healing. So
not
but
that
then
Do you think Black Ice is a narcissist?
I think he's a narcissist?
Personally,
Do
I
you-
think he's just
do you
as
know
a
he
man,
could be
as a
certain level of
man. I think that
narcissist?
he's just really speaking, the truth in regards to just men in general. Not all men, but in general, he's talking about the general.
He probably
Yeah, 'cause
beats.
the
He
men.
probably beats his woman. We don't even know.
They seem like they're in a loving relationship. But who knows? We don't know how
they have a
doors.
different a
just
different
kidding.
style of relationship than I would ever want. Like
Yeah?
she's bisexual. They have an open relationship. I want a monogamous relationship. So I
yes.
wouldn't be in that kind of relationship, and that's not what I want for myself. Do whatever you fucking want to do. Like I have no judgment, but that's not the relationship I want to be in. And I'm not married with kids because I can't. There are plenty of men. Plenty, but I don't know if I want kids.
Yeah.
I've always been on the fence after that relationship because I was like, I'm not sure the way the world's going. 1, I'm not sure. 2, I haven't met the right person who I thought was a father. So there's that. And I just started dating again. So there's that. And I'm not going to rush myself to have kids because that's like the thing to do.
Hell yeah.
If I'm unsure.
I agree. I mean, listen, you were in a relationship.
Absolutely.
If the guy was a good guy and he didn't do the things he would do, you most
Should
likely
be
would have been married.
I would be married with kids.
So the guy screwed it
Yeah.
up. And Superfan Black Ice
Exactly.
stated that he's
Most of the time,
he
guys.
says
screw
that they
up.
don't have an open relationship. That she
Is
likes,
that why they invited me to Valentine's Day 2 years ago?
Ooh.
she knows she likes girls, but not, it's not
So
an
that's
relationship.
open. Oh, okay. So they can have sex with girls, but she can't have sex with other guys.
Who knows? It sounds like an interesting
pretty
Black
open.
Ice situation.
Well, there's a lot of relationships that have bisexual people in them who invite other women into the relationship. I'm not bisexual. I've tried. Didn't work. I don't like it. Nah, not for me.
You know
Like,
what I discovered, that most girls that are bisexual is only because they're doing it to please their man. A lot of times,
and
they're not.
I've talked to a lot of women
Yeah.
like that, and a lot of them got talked into it.
Exactly.
Some girls are into it because there are girls who like girls, but I've actually spoken to a lot of women who thought getting into a threesome would fix their relationship because their man pressured them.
Exactly.
Not to say that that's the case with them. She actually likes women, but like there are women who have gotten, like you just said, they got pressured because they thought that that's what they needed to make their man happy. And they didn't want it, and they wind up more fucked up in the head than ever because they basically like
they
didn't
want
it.
themselves.
or
Yeah.
they get themselves drugged up to do it.
Yep. Absolutely.
It's fucked.
So
No, it's true.
I love any Superfan.
Yeah.
Superfan Black Ice stated that they invited you out because that you were alone and you were
I
trying.
actually wasn't alone. I was dating
at the
someone.
time, and they wanted to take you in and help you,
Okay.
find your way.
Okay.
That's what Black Ice does.
Superfan Steve says David's a narcissist.
Black Ice is trying to help the local community, just like Gentille. She's trying to help the local men in the community. She's solving problems one man at a time.
Dude, I have sex like once every 3 years, so I don't know how you think
gotta
I'm
just-
helping these men.
I think you should just close up shop.
showing my
If it's-
boobs.
If it's once every 3 years, I think you have to
Watch
close
the
up shop.
podcast, see my boobs.
Relationships are so tricky. Like everyone has their own ideas of like how their relationship works, and that's what's interesting, and that's why I feel like there are no blanket statements that can be accurate because people are in so many different styles of relationships now. You have to find what works for you, and that's it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with you if you're in your 30s and are not married, for fuck's
Absolutely.
sake.
Oh my God, I'm almost like, well, I almost said my age. Shit.
It's funny. I got Superfan Steve wants to know why Superfan Black Ice is not married again. I got Superfan debating.
He was married, and now he doesn't. I don't think. From what I remember him saying, he doesn't feel the need to get married again. He's in the relationship that he wants to be in. They have their own ideology of how they want to be,
so
and that's cool.
As we wind up ending the show, I want you to add, since we're all about solving problems, give 3 tips to women or men, whatever tips that you normally give people. It seems like I feel like you should be giving women tips.
It's not even
or men. You could do
well.
either
That's
one.
the thing.
What
Is
are 3
like
tips? Then
I am no relationship coach. I don't claim to be a relationship coach. That's not what it is. But my idea behind Fearless is to help people find themselves again when they have lost themselves, whether that's post-trauma in a relationship or that's just something bad happened to them, loss of parents, loss of maybe you never had a good sense of self and never know who you are. You need to find things that make you feel good for you and you only, and stop your people pleasing, because if you're doing it for somebody else, that means you're not doing it for yourself. So find something that makes you happy, find something that makes you money, and find like some sense of urgency with that, because the second that you can like make yourself feel whole, you will attract a better partner because you're whole within yourself. But if you go looking for a partner to fill those voids, you're actually never going to fill the voids within yourself. So starting with yourself first and figuring out what you want to attract in a partner, like write those things down. If you want your partner to be more successful than you, if you want them super monogamous, if you want them like 6 foot with 6 figures or whatever the fuck that is, like write it down, but also make sure that you're doing your job to bring yourself to the table, because if you have nothing to offer and you're expecting all this stuff from the other sex, and I know Daverick can agree with me on that, because like there are a lot of women who are expecting all of these things, but they've done nothing to be that person for that person. So do the work, figure out who you are, find your non-negotiables, and make yourself happy first, and be the person you want to attract.
Amen.
Perfect.
Amen.
That's amazing. Yeah.
That's
it.
Yeah.
All right, Gentille, you want to add anything about that? Since you're Dr. G. We call Dr. G like the love doctor.
See,
what happened? Superfan
I
Steve?
had some thoughts, and then, being my age, I forget so much. Like I walk into a room and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? What was I going to do? Yeah, no, I swear to God.
She's part of AARP.
No, serious. I'm
She's
older.
got the card.
I know.
I forget what I want to say a lot though. I'm used and washed up goods, you guys.
It's so bad. I know. And even like my articulation.
Once you're over
it's
23,
like,
you're fucked, apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn, I am like 6 feet under at this point.
Like, according to black guys, I should be dead. I should be dead.
No man's ever going to want to mate with me.
Yeah, exactly. Damn it. I forgot.
You having seen your moment?
Yeah, I am. I really am.
Geriatric
right now.
hour over here.
I really am. Oh my God. I don't know. Just be honest, guys. Honestly, like I think we women will be okay with probably a lot of things. And this is what I've experienced. I've been in a few relationships where there were a lot of lies and things came out later. And honestly, like I'm so easygoing, laid back, open-minded. Like I can do almost anything too.
Just lay it on the table.
Yeah. Like let me know exactly what you like or what you're into or whatever, no matter how insane or how creepy it might sound. Just let me know. Because
all the weirdness, all the kinks, everything, just put it out there.
Put it out there.
Because if you don't, you'll wind up like avoiding finding that partner. Maybe if like you were into like more polyamorous relationships and you were honest, you will find that partner that digs it.
Yeah.
Like
just like Derek. Right?
Yeah. Just be honest.
Yeah, exactly. And stop breadcrumbing.
Breadcrumbs?
Yeah.
She's very anti-breadcrumbing for me.
I don't like breadcrumbs either.
Yeah, if you don't like someone, just be
Just
honest
say
and
it.
just say it.
So my tips are the following.
Hurt them in the beginning, not at the end.
Yeah.
My 3 tips. I'm going through my 3 tips, right? 1, probably stay away from any guy that's like on a billboard. Probably stay away from that guy. That's number 1.
Whatever.
What about on podcasts? Just stay away from podcasters.
2, stay away from Sticky Paws.
Stay away from
podcast
all
hosts.
the fucking guys. Okay, I don't care.
Podcast hosts.
Unless they're an engineer.
Unless they're a good-looking engineer with no hair.
Thank you.
And then number 3, anyone that John Orlando probably hooks you up with.
Oh
probably.
my God.
Unless he has a cat like John. John's very pro cat.
And if they have face tattoos, stay away
Well,
from
you've
them
just
too.
covered all the men in the world
We're
now.
done. Basically,
Well,
there's no one.
geez.
Great,
Basically,
so we're fucked.
Basically,
We're fucked.
Basically, you have to move to like the state of
really-
Washington or something like that, or Alaska to find.
Or
a good man.
Alaska. Oh, I heard Alaska had a lot of men, but I heard they were big and burly and
It's the top murder capital
going.
of the world, though, isn't it? Or no,
Is
no.
it?
It's
No.
the top like there's something weird about Alaska.
Really?
Daverick, get the stats.
I was gonna pull the stats.
What's the stat?
There's
He's
something
like,
about
in
Alaska in
there's
danger.
27% of the people.
No,
So I think that's. Oh, the third thing is this. I do believe, dating is a little bit of a part-time job. That if you really want to be into like a committed relationship, especially these days. Personally, I don't believe in bars and that stuff. But online, these places like eHarmony, where you're paying money, was a little bit of a commitment. It's not like you're spending $10 million.
Yeah.
Come on, we already talked about eHarmony.
If you
I'm just saying,
can't spend $20
I'm
a
a little
month,
bit old
you
school.
can go out on
what
the
else
drink.
what else is out there that's
eHarmony had 0 matches for me.
because
Zero.
because basically you're
eHarmony's
very
dated.
no because you're a very difficult person. Of course, it's gonna be zero.
Difficult.
There's more. There's like Hinge. There's
Hinge?
But isn't that like a?
It sounds like a
hookup?
haunted house type
Isn't
of
that like a
I mean, they're all
website.
considered like. I mean,
hookup, right?
I mean, they're all dating apps, right? But
I'm not sure these days. I'm not dating apps.
And you see this exact same guy like 10 years.
on all the apps.
All of
It's the
But
same
my
guy.
thing is, like, you go out and pay $20 for a drink
Yeah.
multiple times a week, but you don't want to pay for like a premium dating service if that's the way you want to meet people. Like, that's interesting. Get off fucking Tinder. Go do some like.
I don't know.
I don't know. Go to
online.
some.
I don't do online.
You know,
I'm
that's
just
how I
waiting
met-
for God.
I would
that's
never do
how-
it. I wouldn't
Yeah.
do it anymore.
Yeah.
That's how I met John Orlando. He was on Tinder with her. We were
It
on
was
Tinder
like
together.
Bumble
We
for
knew each
Friends or whatever.
You
can
met
go find
John.
friends.
other. Yeah. He was like, hey, and he liked me. Clicked the like button.
No, y'all are on Grinder.
So,
Oh my god.
so no, I know I'm saying is that I think that people are committed when they spend a little bit of money for these different websites. I don't even know what's out there. It's been a long time.
Right.
Any recommendation that you have? What website?
Dude, I met
For
my
dating.
toxic ex on an app. I would never go back.
Well, it was free though. It was
Right?
free though, right? Free app gets you
Yes.
bad stuff.
But I think at this point, I would say more like what she was saying, go be places where you'd want to meet someone.
Yeah.
Like, do you like
So
your
just-
dog? Go to a dog meetup. Like,
So
do you
just hang
like
out-
yoga? Go to a yoga retreat.
So
Like,
I figured out
do
you need to hang out.
something.
So Gentille needs to hang out at a bank.
Dude, I would hang out. Go to
needs to
Home
hang-
Depot and hang
she-
out in like the lumber section. You find yourself a real.
She needs to be at the bank just waiting when they keep coming up. So like, hey, can we help you? Like, no, I'm just waiting here a little bit. You should just sit there and wait
Just
for
at the
somebody.
bank, okay.
Any guy that comes in with like a large,
Yeah.
package.
Like,
you
sir.
can- Yeah, I mean, it's probably good, right? You want to meet someone with money, you sit at the bank, you wait for the guy. The guy comes in and winks at you, and he looks like he's making a deposit.
Where did I put on my stats that I needed a guy with money?
So how about the lumber? That's good. At your Home Depot in the lumber area.
Depot. Oh, yeah.
Like, hey,
I
can you help me with that piece of wood over there?
I'll find all the handy guys there.
Well,
We should tape recorder, like set
you
her up in
don't
the
meet
lumber
a lot
area.
of men who can do their own shit anymore. Like, it's
Oh my
like, let's be
God.
I can't do it. I'm
They're
just hire
so
someone to do it.
freaking Madonnas,
easier.
right? Pre-Madonnas,
Yeah,
pre-Madonnas, yeah, Madonnas. A lot of these guys are not a lot. Okay, let me take that back. Some of the guys that are really wealthy, they don't know how to do anything. They just pay someone. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, honey, change the light bulb. No, I'm gonna pay someone. Come on.
I would
Fucking
rather
light
see you
bulb.
change a light bulb.
Yeah.
I got one last question for you before we end. John T has a problem, not really that big of a problem, where men come to the house and they, let's say a plumber or a duck guy cleaner, and
Where's this going?
these different people come to the house and she's waiting for a bill and they're like, it's okay, it's on me. Like everyone that comes to the home, the pool guy, the guy that's cleaning the ducks, she never has to pay.
It's
for
not
any
a
problem?
service. No, what do you think? Do you have that same problem?
No, I've paid.
It's not totally true. He's he's exaggerating. He's totally exaggerating.
She doesn't
but-
say what she's wearing.
Well, the
but-
thing is, I think if a man comes to a single woman's house and sees that she needs help, like a good
Come to the
man,
rescue?
there's part of them that might want to, like, maybe that manly instinct to like help her and maybe not want to charge her.
Yeah.
So I have a few homes, so I just want to use her sometimes when the
Oh
home,
my
when
god!
the home goes vacant.
You come to my house and
she's
call
like-
for help.
Yeah, yeah. I
Right?
mean,
You see?
I want her. We can
Jewish.
hire her, right, to bring her to different homes when they go vacant.
Oh
and
my
it's like
God.
You're such a Jew.
clean
Do you
out.
get a percentage of this?
You're
We do like a
Jewish,
clean
right?
out, yeah.
You're Jewish.
To do like a clean
Okay.
out, I don't have to spend money. I save money. We
Wow.
could use her services, right? She just goes to multiple
Her
homes.
services.
Chivalry is not dead, so that's
Yeah.
good at
No,
least,
it's not.
right? Yeah.
It's not.
But it's funny, it's
no, but I
happening to-
do have some guys that come over and fix things, and I'm like, well, let me pay you, and they're like, no, it's fine. I'm like,
My male
Yeah.
friends would never let me pay them to fix something, for sure. Even if they're acquaintances. Like, I had friends of boyfriends of girlfriends that don't know me very well.
Yeah.
And if I was to move, like, we got it. And I'm like,
Love that.
That's so
we
nice.
love
Yeah,
this.
we love that.
But
We
you
love
know,
this.
there's like another motive.
motive for it.
They're married to my friend and their friends.
Yeah,
They're good guys.
Yeah, they're just
Good
good.
guys.
They're just
that
good
want to
men.
help.
They're,
such nice men.
but yes, a lot of men have ulterior motives, and
Yeah.
that's why women are
Yeah.
afraid to ask for help sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe I actually just need help. I don't want you to try and.
Captain Tavahos. We love y'all.
Yeah, the bottom line is I just find that interesting.
I hang my
Everyone's
own
trying to
shit
save
now.
you.
Okay, if I was single, I'd hang my own
honey.
shit.
Come
Yeah.
save
All right,
me.
so listen, Christina, we really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Sharing some wisdom.
Thank you. Thank you. It was
Your
amazing. You're
experience.
amazing.
Thank
Love
you.
it.
I love your positive spirit. I love your stuff that you have, basically,
Thank
the
you.
show and stuff. I think it's great.
I'm glad.
Anything that's positive in general to help people, I think
That's
it's
all I
awesome.
want from that podcast is just to feel good and hear that you're not somebody to hear that you're not alone, and maybe someone else experiences the same struggles you experience, and you can hear from a place of not getting bashed for it.
And if you have any people that have any problems, myself, Shanti's kind of busy this month. She's already solved most of the problems that she's required from the Problem Solver show. But I am still open 24/7 to help people with problems.
He sends
I've got
me
some
these-
people for you.
Oh my God, he sends me some weird problems, and I'm like, I can't help. How the hell am I supposed to help
She's part
this
of the
person?
Problem Solver show. She's supposed to help
Whatever it
people
is.
with problems.
And then they yell and holler at him afterwards when he's trying to help
Yes,
them.
I
I'm like,
recently had someone that was
see,
very upset.
You get grief.
Yeah.
You get grief when
You
you,
get the
try to help
aftermath
people.
of it.
Yeah.
Someone was recently upset. So at least I know people are watching.
Yeah.
The person was
It's
upset.
working.
She's
They
like-
are watching. Yeah.
She saw the nipples
Oh
being
yeah.
clamped.
We had one.
So I was like, I knew there was an extra person watching the show.
We had an episode where I brought some sex toys for
Valentine's Day.
Valentine.
I was
you
like, what
know?
kind of show
Yeah.
is this?
Yeah, no. I brought some adult stuff.
She was
you know.
showcasing
Yes.
how she solves problems in her home. And she brought a bag of toys.
Well, it was good.
I
For,
love
it's
this.
good for couples, right?
Yeah.
exactly.
She,
You know,
again, always
bonds.
helping the community. 1-833-JOHN-T. Contact her 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if you
Thank
want to buy
you.
some real estate, that John T is also available
Yes.
for the real estate
Thank you.
problem as well. But anyway, Christina, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks
You're
for
awesome.
having me.
It's
you,
good for
Christina.
laughs. I'll get you the gas card. And as usual, the problem solver, the goal is to help people solve problems from great experts. Even Dr. G always kind of sharing her wisdom.
Thank you.
And you can go to theproblemsolver.vegas if you have a problem. And we'll get back to you, 702-999-1111. The police is 911, but the problem solver is 702-999-1111. Text and call anytime. Be safe, be careful. Have a good week.